So I thought this El Tigre fan art I did a little while back, maybe a week or so ago, would be a good video to just do a little bit of commentary on, how I do my artistic process, I guess. This one I was definitely really trying to stay in line with the show's style. So I'd taken a few screen caps from El Tigre in similar poses and was referencing them, and I wound up color swatching from one of the promotional images, but it turns out the promotional images by the network were actually whitewashed, so at the very end of this video you'll see I changed the skin tone to be a little bit more accurate. That was really disappointing to see the network doing that. Anyway, I got this Queen song in my head, and immediately I pictured El Tigre in this pose, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta draw that. I don't do El Tigre style very often, but I do think that my art turns out a little better when I'm working off of somebody else's style as a guide. But, of course, I'm trying to develop my own style in the meantime. But it definitely looks a lot cleaner and more put together, of course. So I already got the preliminary sketch down. I wanted to get a little bit of, an action pose, so a more extreme angle with the hand. Technically, I think that El Tigre's fist should probably have the claws on it, but that's not how I wanted it to look, so it doesn't. Let's see, right here I'm just coloring in the spots. Usually whenever I do lineless work, it's on Clip Studio Paint or another program like that. This is my first time really trying to go lineless in Procreate from what I can remember off the top of my head. It's not, I don't do it the exact same way. It's a little bit weirder having to draw it with, pen instead of just making vectors by anchoring points and then changing the angle of those vectors. Anyway, got some solid colors down. I almost forgot his tail. And this is more or less what I wanted it to look like, but I also wanted to add the lyrics from the Queen song. This week I had been doing a lot of fonts, I guess, because I sometimes chalk the whiteboards at the coffee shop I work at. So I was kind of tired of doing that, but at least here you can digitally edit it. You don't have to just try to wipe off chalk paint with, the edge of a towel or something. And there's some really fun ways to change the color of the letters and everything that's a little bit easier to do digitally than anywhere else. There are a lot of things that Procreate especially does not have that Clip Studio Paint does. I really feel spoiled by Clip Studio Paint because they have all these really nice, like if there's a tool where you're like, this should exist, and you look it up, then that tool already exists on Clip Studio Paint, you just didn't know how to get to it. That's not really the case for Procreate. So here I'm just making the lettering stand out a little bit more. I wanted to make it look like a tiger's, and I wanted to make sure that it was really easily legible at a glance. And at the very last second, I decided to add some motion streaks onto the lettering itself because I thought it made it look a little bit more exciting and dynamic, which a lot of the backgrounds and stuff in El Tigre do. And then I'm just kind of sharpening up the whiskers, kind of cleaning up some lines. I got this random line in the middle I only noticed after I'd posted it the first time. And then at the very end, this is when I realized I needed to change the skin tone, and I was trying to figure out the best way to do that. I wish I would have known that from the beginning, but oh well. And that's El Tigre.